Craig Gallagher has a best lap time of 0:29.218. Simon of the Desert has a best lap time of 0:28.705.
There is always more time to be found, but Simon is not guaranteed to find it.
With just 7 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Simon of the Desert posted 0:29.053 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
Simon is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this practice session. Simon of the Desert has a best lap time of 0:28.705.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
David Zahn has a best lap time of 0:28.193. Simon just posted a 0:28.456 crossing start finish. With just 3 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
David Zahn posted 0:29.022 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time. Craig Gallagher has a best lap time of 0:29.218.
There is always more time to be found, but Craig Gallagher is not guaranteed to find it.
David just posted a 0:28.720 crossing start finish.
Zahn is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
With just 0 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
Craig Gallagher posted 0:29.512 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
Asadic Streaming is on his practice out lap. Get ready for some high-octane action, as the drivers take on the challenge of qualifying at ASRL Darlington Raceway. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Simon of the Desert is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run and get everything just right. Simon of the Desert has completed his outlap. This is where the mental game comes into play. Kevin Lekmansky is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run.
This is the moment he's been preparing for. Let's see if he can execute.
It's clear that Simon of the Desert is pushing his car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap.
Let's see if he can put a good marker down.
Simon of the Desert has completed that flying lap in 0:29.857, which is good enough for P3, down 1.04 to the leader. The pressure is on in this qualifying session, but James Garbach is rising to the James Garbach has just completed that lap in 0:28.151, which is 0.445 off the best time, putting him in P3. Simon of the Desert is in the green by 0.13. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for second in this qualifying session. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for second in this qualifying session. James Garbach is now up 0.13. James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for third in this qualifying session. Simon of the Desert has improved by 0.23. Simon of the Desert is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:27.208. It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Craig Gallagher is nailing both. Craig Gallagher just clocked a 0:30.642, 3.434 off of P1 and good enough for P5. Let's see if he can improve on that time further. Craig Gallagher will be happy, with a time good enough for fifth in this qualifying session. Craig Gallagher will be happy, with a time good enough for fifth in this qualifying session. Simon of the Desert looks to be off the pace. Janet, what can he do to improve?
Good question, Marco. It's all or nothing now. He'll need to stay focused, hit the brake markers, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
The adrenaline is pumping. David Zahn is on his out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
He'll want to get a good gap established for the flying lap.
David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for third in this qualifying session. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for second in this qualifying session. Craig Gallagher has found an extra 0.2. Craig Gallagher will be happy, with a time good enough for fifth in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 2.088, but that won't stop him from trying.
David Zahn is up 0.11. Craig Gallagher is in the green by 0.1. James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for fourth in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 0.777 gap to pole.
James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for fourth in this qualifying session. Kevin Lekmansky looks to be off the pace. Janet, what can he do to improve?
Well, Marco, he'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed.
Kevin Lekmansky is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:27.138. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Bones has completed that flying lap in 0:29.599, which is good enough for P6, down 2.461 to the leader. Bones has some work to do, as his best time of 0:29.130 is only good enough for sixth. Bones has some work to do, as his best time of 0:29.114 is only good enough for sixth.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 1.976 gap to pole.
Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for fifth in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 1.167, but that won't stop him from trying.
Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 1.398 gap to pole.
Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session. Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session. David Zahn looks to be off the leader by 0.644. Janet, what can he do to improve?
He'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.644, but that won't stop him from trying.
James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 1.023 gap to pole.
James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 1.023, but that won't stop him from trying.
And there goes David Zahn, currently in P3. He's shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still a chance to improve on that time. David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session. David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session. A solid qualifying performance by Craig Gallagher, positioned in 6th. The question now is whether he can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:28.672 is only good enough for 6th.
There's at least 1.78 seconds to be found, but Craig Gallagher may be looking for it in the wrong places.
Impressive work from James Garbach, who has claimed 5th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining his composure and push for an even better starting position. James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 0.814 gap to pole.
It's a very still day here at ASRL Darlington Raceway, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The calm before the storm. I don't know about you, Marco, but I'm expecting some hard-fought battles on track today.
Kevin Lech Mansky will be looking to convert his pole position into a win.
Lech Mansky is sure to be excited at his prospects for this race.
Simon of the Desert will be looking to convert this front row start into a win.
He can't let that advantage go to waste. He will need to stay focused and keep his eyes on the prize.
David Zahn is holding down the fort in third place.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Zahn can do from here.
Coming in at fourth, we have Bones.
The American driver will be focused on a good result from here.
In fifth place, we have James Garbach.
James Garbach is in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
Securing the sixth place is Craig Gallagher.
Let's see what Craig Gallagher can do.
The formation lap is underway as the safety car leads the drivers out through the first lap. As the drivers make their way around the formation lap, tensions are high and the excitement is so thick you can almost see it.
This is the moment where they need to stay focused and keep their cool. It's a real test of their mental and physical preparation.
The teams will also be keeping a close eye on their drivers, ensuring everything is running smoothly.
The formation lap can also be a great opportunity to spot any issues with the car or track conditions.
With the clock ticking down to the start of the race, the drivers will need to maintain their positions and gaps on the grid.
Every driver will be looking to make their move early on.
All eyes are on the lights.
You can feel the tension rise as we get ready to start the race.
It's a rolling start here at ASRL Darlington Raceway, as drivers are trying to get their tires up to temperature and doing final systems checks.
This is where they'll be sizing each other up and trying to get a feel for the competition.
Absolutely. It's a crucial part of the race. Drivers will need to make sure they're primed and ready to react the instant the lights go out. The green light signals the beginning of an epic race. As the drivers jostle for position, it's all about keeping their cool under pressure.
This is where the true test of a driver's skill comes into play. It's all about finding the right line and carrying as much speed as possible through the turn.
The drivers will need to be precise and calculated if they want to make it through this section unscathed.
And with so many cars jostling for position, it's a real test of nerve as well. One wrong move and you could be out of the race before it even really gets started.
That's right. The pressure is really on these drivers to perform. There's not much to report on from David Zahn at the moment. He's just keeping his head down and putting in consistent laps.
Consistency is key in racing. David just needs to keep doing what he's doing and wait for opportunities to present themselves.
Janet, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Mark.
Hold on a second. Oh dear, Narwhal has had an incident. Hold on to your hats, folks. Simon of the Desert is right on the heels of Kevin Lekmansky, and we're in for a wild ride. We've got an edge of your seat battle between David Zahn in 4th and Bones in 5, with just 0.1 seconds between them. Hold the phone. Incredible. David Zahn is caught in a fierce battle, with Bones breathing down his neck 0.1 seconds away, and Simon just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a test of his racing skills.
Couldn't agree more, Marco. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind create a dynamic situation for Dave. He must carefully manage his position while being mindful of potential overtaking opportunities.
It's a close race between Simon of the Desert and Bones in 4th.
There's blood in the water for 4th place.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
We gotta hold that thought. And Simon of the Desert has just won the place from Bones.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Simon needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Bones is chasing Simon of the Desert in P4.
This is where every inch counts. Bones is pushing hard to close the gap on Simon. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
It seems like Kevin Lekmansky is getting in range of David Zahn.
And if you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
Hold the phone. What a move. Narwhal has moved up to 5th.
Impressive. Narwhal is really showing his skill and determination out there.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Kevin Lekmansky is closing in on David Zahn.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
Superb driving from Kevin Lekmansky, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Wow. Breaking news, folks. Disappointing for David Zahn, falling down the order to 4th.
That's got to hurt. Dave needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
Simon of the Desert is in 2nd, and is being closely chased by David Zahn, who is just 0.1 seconds behind. Kevin Lekmansky is running 4th, and trying to catch David Zahn.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Lekmansky is really walking that fine line.
A great pass for Kevin Lekmansky, swapping places with David Zahn to move up the field.
Absolutely, Marco, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Lekmansky can't afford to get complacent.
This is what it's all about, folks. David Zahn is in hot pursuit of Kevin Lekmansky, who's just trying to stay ahead. Hold that thought. A tough moment for David Zahn, who has just lost a place, now in 5th.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Dave needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
Great driving from David Zahn, who has just gained a place and moved up to 4th.
Absolutely. Zahn is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy.
The gap between Kevin Lekmansky and David Zahn may be wide. Breaking update. A setback for Kevin Lekmansky, who has just been passed.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Kevin needs to stay calm and focused, and make his move when the time is right.
A brilliant maneuver from Kevin Lekmansky, who has just moved up the field. Breaking news, folks. That won't be ideal for David Zahn. Stop the press. A great moment for Craig Gallagher, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
That's what we like to see. Craig Gallagher is really showing his class today.
Narwhal is on a mission, chasing Craig Gallagher, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
Narwhal needs to focus to have a chance at getting past Craig Gallagher.
Narwhal braking update. What a move. Narwhal has moved up to second. Hard break for Narwhal as they slip down the field. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Kevin Lekmansky as there is a big gap ahead.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
Craig Gallagher is looking for a way round Narwhal.
And Craig Gallagher.
Stop the press. Oh dear, Craig Gallagher has dropped down to 7th. Kevin Lekmansky is giving it his all, chasing down Simon. Hold on a second. Looks like that's a mistake from Craig Gallagher. This could be costly.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 4 kph out there right now.
Kevin Lekmansky is staying focused while chasing Simon of the Desert in P2. It looks like Kevin Lekmansky is making a move. The gap to Simon of the Desert is now down to 0.4 seconds. A strong showing from James Garbach, who is currently first.
Yes, but James Garbach has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Oh no, Janet, look at this. Simon of the Desert is closing in on James Garbach. The gap is now just 13.6 seconds.
This is a real test for James Garbach. He'll need to find some extra pace and hold off Simon to have a shot at winning this race.
The race is heating up as Kevin Lek braking update. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. It's looking good for James Garbach, sitting in first. It's true what they say, Janet, you're never complete. Hold up, breaking info. This is a tough break for James Garbach. He just lost P2 to Simon of the Desert.
Indeed, he's been trying so hard to hold his position, but the other drivers are just too strong. Meanwhile, Simon is showing some great pace.
A solid performance from James Garbach, who is holding down third.
Definitely Marco, but James Garbach can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
It's all about consistency for Simon of the Desert, who is currently first. He's pulling away. Simon of the Desert is increasing the gap to Kevin Lekmansky. You can feel the tension in the air.
The drivers are all focused, putting everything on the line for a chance at victory, pushing themselves and their machines to the limit.
And let's not forget about the incredible machines themselves.
Absolutely. It's amazing to think about the kind of engineering and innovation that goes into making these vehicles. But it all comes down to the drivers, who have to be able to handle the power and speed. It's going to be thrilling seeing how this race turns out.
That's not a small gap, but Kevin Lekmansky has what it takes to challenge for the position.
This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Kevin in P2 doing everything he can to catch up. It
seems like Kevin Lekmansky has got the bid between his teeth, improving on Simon of the Desert's lap time there. Janet, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Marco. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
James Garbach is placed third at the moment. He can't hold on. James Garbach is losing time to Bones. Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
All joking aside, I bet they were. Things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely, it's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
Things are heating up as Kevin Lech Mansky tries to close the gap to Simon of the Desert.
Lech Mansky is really pushing the limits. He's riding the curbs and hustling that ASRL Chevrolet 28 like a boss.
Stop the press. Big gains for Kevin Lech Mansky as they move up the field, leaving Simon of the Desert behind.
Absolutely, Lech Mansky is showing great pace and determination, but he can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
Disappointing for Kevin Lech Mansky, falling down the order to second.
Definitely, but
Stop the press. Tough break for Kevin Lech Mansky, who has just lost a position.
That's got to be frustrating. But Lech Mansky is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
Things don't seem to be going Bones' way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. Safety car is still leading the field after several laps.
This is really putting the drivers to the test, having to stay focused and ready to pounce at a moment's notice.
It can be tough to keep your adrenaline pumping when you're driving at slower speeds, but they can't afford to lose their concentration.
It's also a challenge for the teams. They have to keep their drivers calm and focused despite the frustration of being stuck behind the safety car.
During your racing career, Janet, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Marco, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
And we have the safety car out, which means the drivers need to be extra cautious now.
It's a real game changer, with drivers needing to adjust their strategies and try to find ways to gain an advantage.
It's also a bit of a break for the drivers, giving them a chance to catch their breath and regroup before the action kicks off again. As a former driver, Janet, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Marco. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
The safety car is in play.
Let's not forget about the physical challenge of driving behind the safety car. The drivers need to keep their tires and brakes up to temperature to be ready to attack when the safety car comes in.
It's a real test of skill and endurance for these drivers, but that's why they're the best in the business. Let's see how this plays out. As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
The safety car is out on track. Wait, rev your engines, folks. We're back to full throttle racing. Bones is not able to keep his pace consistent, and is currently 2.12 seconds down.
I heard a rumor that Bones is feeling under the weather, likely from too much partying and staying up late.
Look at that. David Zahn is hot on the tail of Bones. Things are getting spicy now, as Kevin Lekmansky and Bones look to battle it out for second place. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
And the drivers know it too, Marco. He's giving it everything he's got, and you can see him pushing the limits of the car's capabilities.
It's a nail-biting showdown between these three drivers. They're nose to tail, pushing their limits in every corner.
I'm on the edge of my seat, Marco. The door-to-door action is exhilarating. The bravery required to go side by side like that is something only the best drivers possess.
Oh, this is getting intense. Bones is just behind David Zahn.
If things go wrong between Bones and Zahn, they could be exchanging more than just paint, like maybe a strongly worded post-race chat.
The battle for P1 is heating up as Kevin Lekmansky tries to catch Simon of the Desert in P1.
The gap between them is now just over 0.3 seconds.
The adrenaline is pumping as Bones gets within striking distance of David Zahn in their race for third.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domination.
Hold up, breaking info. Fantastic move from Bones, who has just gained a position.
You can't argue with results like that. Bones is really making his mark on this race.
David Zahn is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. The pressure is on as Kevin Lekmansky tries to catch up to Simon of the Desert. Oh, this is getting intense. David Zahn is just a few car lengths behind Bones. Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would help to cement Kevin Lekmansky's legendary status. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. Hold up, breaking info. Superb driving from Kevin Lekmansky, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. It's a thrilling pursuit as Simon of the Desert is right behind Kevin Lekmansky, keeping the pressure on for first place.
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
The pursuit is on. James Garbach is closing the gap on David Zahn, determined to claim P4.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
The intensity is off the charts as Simon of the Desert hounds Kevin Lekmansky, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
This battle between Simon and Kevin is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
Braking development. Great driving from Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a place and moved up to first. In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown.
The only thing closer than Lekmansky to Simon.
Braking update. An impressive showing from Kevin Lekmansky, who has gained positions and left Simon of the Desert in the dust. It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Stop the press. It's looking good for Simon of the Desert, who has gained a place after passing Kevin Lekmansky. A tough moment for Simon of the Desert, who has just lost a place, now in second. The pursuit is on. James Garbach is working on that gap to David Zahn, determined to claim P3. The gap between James Garbach and David Zahn is getting smaller. The tension is building as Narwhal trails behind Bones. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination.
These drivers are battling hard for this position, each one trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like James Garbach is taking that advice to heart today.
And James Garbach has just won the place from David Zahn.
Yes, but James Garbach needs to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. James Garbach needs to stay focused and drive with skill and determination.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. David Zahn is chasing James Garbach in P3. Every move counts now as Simon of the Desert works to reel in Kevin Lekmansky and overtake for P1.
We'll have to wait to see if Simon can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
This is what makes—
Hold up, breaking info. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with David Zahn gaining places and James Garbach losing them.
Yes, but Zahn can't rest on his laurels, but needs to keep pushing to consolidate his position.
This is where the race gets really interesting. James Garbach is closing in on David Zahn. Simon of the Desert is on a mission, chasing Kevin Lekmansky, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
It's a game of strategy now as Simon hunts down Lekmansky. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
These drivers are walking a razor's— Hold on a second. Big gains for James Garbach as they move up the field, leaving David Zahn behind. It's a brilliant day for racing here at ASRL Darlington Raceway. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
This is what— Breaking development. An impressive showing from Kevin Lekmansky, who has gained positions and left Simon of the Desert in the dust. Things are heating up as Simon of the Desert tries to close the gap to Kevin Lekmansky.
With just 0.3 seconds between them, Simon will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
Looks like Craig Gallagher is really hitting those curves aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
Things are heating up as Simon of the Desert closes in on Kevin Lekmansky. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. Craig Gallagher is giving it his all, chasing down James Garbach in P3.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Craig Gallagher close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Simon of the Desert is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curves. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
It seems like Simon of the Desert is struggling. His last lap time was a bit off the pace of Kevin Lekmansky. David Zahn has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Bones. I expect his only hope at this point is that Bones makes an error.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that David is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
Simon of the Desert has the pedal to the metal, chasing Kevin Lekmansky.
He'll need to keep it on the road, or at the very least the rumble strips. The fastest way around is not usually in the grass. As the saying goes, too much grass will slow you down.
The race is really heating up. Narwhal is hunting down David Zahn with everything he's got.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Narwhal needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
The action is non-stop as Simon of the Desert shadows Kevin Lekmansky through every twist and turn, determined to claim first. Breaking news, folks. Oh dear, Simon of the Desert has had an incident.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race he'd been looking at a decent result.
This is where it's all over. Kevin Lekmansky has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of his game right now.
You could feel the tension building throughout the race, but Lekmansky remained focused and in control. That's what separates the winners from the pack.
Simon of the Desert takes second place with a fantastic race. What a race from James Garbach, showing his skill and determination for a great third place finish.
Fantastic result.
Finishing 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is Craig Gallagher, Bones, David Zahn, and Narwhal. It's a beautifully calm day here at ASRL Darlington Raceway, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Narwhal will lead the way from pole position.
He can't get cocky. This is ASRL, and anything can happen.
Starting on the front row is a great opportunity for David Zahn to challenge for the lead.
He will have to be smart about his moves. He must not burn out too early.
In the third position, it's none other than Bones.
He's going to have to be quick out of the blocks to keep up with the top performers.
Craig Gallagher lines up in fourth place as the engines rev and the race begins.
Another good start for the American driver.
On the fifth grid slot we have James Garbach.
A strong grid position, and he'll be expecting a solid result today.
Taking the 6th spot is Simon of the Desert.
Simon will be expecting to bring home solid points.
On the 7th grid slot we have Kevin Lekmansky.
He's going to have to time his moves just right to move up the grid during the race.
The formation lap is underway as the safety car leads the drivers out through the first lap. As the drivers make their way around the formation lap, tensions are high and the excitement is so thick you can almost see it.
This is the moment where they need to stay focused and keep their cool.
The lights are out and it's go time.
Precision is everything during these initial stages. One wrong move could cost them valuable time or even force them out of the race.
All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up.
The drivers are walking a fine line during the first lap melee as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
Having started in P3, Bones will be hoping for a good result in this race.
The drivers will be jostling for the best position Marco. Some of them may not make it to the second lap in one piece.
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at ASRL Darlington Raceway, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
Let's hope everyone is able to stay focused for the challenge ahead.
It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
It's always intense racing here at ASRL Darlington Raceway. Hold on to your hats, folks.
It's been a solid race so far for Narwhal. He's holding his position and keeping a steady pace.
That's the mark of a good driver. Narwhal is staying focused on his own race and not getting distracted.
We got a close stop the press. A great pass for Bones, swapping places with Narwhal to move up the field. It looks like we might get a battle with braking update. Heartbreak for Bones, as they slip down the field.
That's got to hurt. Bones needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Bones is right on the heels of James Garbach, and we're in for a wild ride.
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Bones is definitely living on the edge today.
Wow, Narwhal is really pushing hard to catch up to David Zahn.
Should things go south between Narwhal and Zahn, we might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
Braking update. A brilliant maneuver from Narwhal, who has just moved up the field.
Impressive. Narwhal is really showing his skill and determination out there.
It's an intense battle for position as David Zahn tries to outmaneuver Narwhal. This is edge of your seat racing.
Should things go awry, Zahn and Narwhal might find themselves giving a whole new meaning to the term tandem drifting, though I doubt they'd enjoy it as much as the spectators.
This is a thrilling moment in the race, with Bones in third defending his position with everything he's got. But Kevin Lekmansky is relentless, and the gap is less than 0.2 seconds. It's anyone's position at this point.
It's an intense race between these two drivers, and Lekmansky is going to have to try something here.
We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race as Simon of the Desert. Breaking news, folks. It's a challenging situation for Kevin Lekmansky. He's sandwiched between fierce competitors. Simon 0.2 seconds away and Bones 0.2 seconds ahead. He'll need to stay sharp and find an opportunity to make a move. This is what it's all about, folks. Simon of the Desert is in hot pursuit of Kevin Lekmansky, who's just trying to stay ahead.
If Simon gets any closer, he might as well have.
Breaking development. What a move. Simon of the Desert has moved up to second. It's a close race between David Zahn and Simon of the Desert in second.
You can feel the intensity in the air. The slightest mistake could cost either of them valuable time and the position.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Bones gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Kevin Lekmansky wants to find a way round Simon of the Desert.
For sure, Marco, that's exactly what I would be doing here, as Simon is going to be aware of him riding his bumper.
Bones is looking to take advantage of that slipstream being so close to David Zahn. That's gonna provide the extra speed to challenge for the position. The gap between Bones and David Zahn is razor thin as they vie for third in this nail-biting contest. Simon of the Desert seems to be putting the pressure on Kevin Lekmansky.
If Simon gets too close, he might end up taking the paint off.
It's a game of inches now as Bones tails David Zahn closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Simon of the Desert is breathing down the neck of Kevin Lekmansky, not giving him any room to relax.
It's a battle of nerves now. Simon and Lekmansky are both pushing hard, but need to avoid mistakes that might cost them time or positions.
Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would hope to cement Bones' legendary status. This is a thrilling battle as Simon of the Desert edges closer to Kevin Lekmansky in their fight for P1. It's a thrilling pursuit as Bones is right behind David Zahn, keeping the pressure on. Breaking update. It's looking good for Bones, who has gained a place after passing David Zahn.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Bones needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
David Zahn is running fourth and trying to catch Bones.
Zahn is looking to close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass.
David Zahn is trying his best, but can't seem to find. Braking alert. Fantastic move from David Zahn, who has just gained a position. I'm sure Bones is. Braking update. Oh dear, Bones has dropped down to fifth. The action is heating up here as Narwhal is in fourth, defending from Bones, who is only 0.3 seconds away.
Narwhal is doing a great job of defending in the lead, and Bones is pushing hard to close the gap. It's an exciting race and it's not over yet.
Oh, this is getting intense. Bones is just behind Narwhal.
At this rate, Bones and Narwhal are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Breaking news, folks. A great moment for Bones, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Things are going according to plan for David Zahn, who is currently 5th.
That's right. Zahn can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
The adrenaline is pumping as breaking news, folks. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Bones gaining places and Narwhal losing them.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
The intensity is off the charts as Narwhal hounds Bones, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
As a former driver, I can tell you there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush when you're this close to your rival, ready to make your move.
James Garbach wants to get into David Zahn's slipstream.
It looks like James Garbach has the speed to make a move. I just hope he can do it cleanly.
Wait. A setback for Bones, who has just been passed. Oh, the frustration must be building for Bones. He's just lost 4th position to Narwhal and he's going to have to work hard to get it back. The gap between David Zahn and James Garbach is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from David to even allow James Garbach to get a look in. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. Good news for Simon of the Desert. The gap to Kevin Lekmanski has decreased. It's now down to 0.1 seconds. David Zahn is trying his best to catch Narwhal.
No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
David Zahn is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Narwhal to 0.6 seconds. Anyone who says that ASRL is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds, and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Simon of the Desert is chasing Kevin Lekmanski in P1.
This is where every inch counts. Simon is pushing hard to close the gap on Lekmanski. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
No room for error here. David Zahn is breathing down the neck of Narwhal, waiting for the perfect chance to make his move. The pursuit is on. Simon of the Desert is closing the gap on Kevin Lekmanski, determined to claim P1.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Simon should use slipstreaming to his advantage and close the gap to Lekmanski.
Simon of the Desert needs to find some speed, or maybe get more consistent. Janet, he's just put in a slower lap than Kevin Lekmanski.
It will be interesting to see if Lekmanski can keep outpacing Simon.
The pressure is on as David Zahn tries to catch up to Narwhal.
Zahn needs to focus to have a chance at getting past Narwhal.
In racing anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
The safety car has been called.
It can be frustrating for anyone who was in a strong position before the safety car came out.
They'll need to stay focused and make the most of any opportunities that come their way once the safety car is called in. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
We are under the safety car. It's all about finding that sweet spot and keeping your wits about you.
And while it's not ideal for the fans, there's something undeniably thrilling about seeing the safety car out on track. It adds an element of unpredictability and keeps everyone on the edge of their seats.
Let's hope we can get this debris cleared quickly and get back to the racing action. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help them navigate the track. The safety car is out on the track and the drivers are slowing down to keep their positions.
This is where strategy comes into play. Do you pit now and risk losing track position, or do you stay out and hope for a quick end to the safety car period?
It's a tough call for the teams and drivers to make. As a former racing driver, Janet, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Marco. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be—
Hold that thought. The safety car is pulling into the pits, and we are moments away from going back to green flag racing. Hold on to your seats. Things are heating up as Narwhal closes in on Simon of the Desert. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Narwhal must be laser focused on Simon's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
They're giving it everything they've— Braking development. Oh, the pressure is on for Kevin Lekmansky. Trapped between Narwhal 0.1 seconds away and Simon just ahead with a gap of 0.1 seconds. He must defend his position while seeking an opportunity to advance.
Absolutely, Marco. The pressure is mounting for Lekmansky, who needs to navigate through this challenging situation. It's crucial to remain focused and make calculated moves.
Bones wants to close that gap with James Garbach.
If you don't push the boundaries, you will never know.
Braking update. Superb driving from Bones, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. It looks like David Zahn is in control. He's ahead of Kevin Lekmansky by over a sec. Hold the phone. This is not looking good for David Zahn. He's just lost second to Kevin Lekmansky. At this point, his strategy seems to be failing him. Every move counts now as Bones works to reel in David Zahn and overtake for P3. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
If David pushes too hard, he might end up taking the scenic route, and nobody's got time for sightseeing during—
Wait. Disappointing for David Zahn, falling down the order to fourth. Bones is on a mission, chasing Dave. Stop the press. A tough moment for Bones, who has just lost a place, now in fifth. In your experience, Janet, what was the most challenging aspect of maintaining concentration during a race?
The most challenging aspect, Marco, was managing the various inputs and distractions during the race from radio communication.
Stop the press. Heartbreak for Bones, as they slip down the field.
Sucks to be them, Marco.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Simon of the Desert is defending for his life, but Bones is right there doing everything he can to force a mistake. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. The racing is getting tight between Bones and Simon as they battle for P5. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
3 cars, 3 different lines. Braking development. Hold your breath, folks. Simon of the Desert is sandwiched between 2 relentless competitors. James Garbach 0.1 seconds behind and David 0.2 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position.
Spot on analysis, Marco. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like a double-edged sword for Simon. He can use the gaps to his advantage, but also needs to be aware of the threats from both directions.
Oh, things are getting intense for Simon of the Desert. He's sandwiched between James Garbach and David, navigating this high-speed battle. Hold on a second. Talk about being caught in the middle. Simon of the Desert is sandwiched between some fierce competitors. James Garbach 0.1 seconds behind and David 0.2 seconds ahead. The battle for position is on.
Absolutely, Marco. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like windows of opportunity for Simon. He'll need to assess the timing and make a move wisely to maximize his chances.
This is what racing. Hold up, breaking info. That won't be ideal for David Zahn. They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as hold the phone. Great driving from James Garbach, who has just gained a place and moved up to 3rd. Hold on a moment. A brilliant maneuver from Bones, who has just moved up the field. In your experience, hold on a second. Oh dear, Bones has dropped down to 4th. A strong showing from Simon of the Desert, who is currently 6th.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable.
Braking development. Looks like that's a mistake from James Garbach. This could be costly.
ASRL Darlington Raceway is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
It's looking good for Bones, sitting in 4th. Oh, Janet. Bones has seen his lead over David Zahn shrink to 2.6 seconds.
That's a worrying sign for Bones.
You know, Janet, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in a race?
Sure, Marco. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
A solid performance from Bones, who is holding down 4th. Well, it doesn't look like Kevin Lekmansky is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Narwhal. It's game on now. Kevin Lekmansky has closed the gap to Narwhal. It's now down to 2.3 seconds.
That's a great effort from Lekmansky. He'll need to keep up the pressure and see if he can make a move.
The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Bones needs to find a way to close the gap. The gap between Bones and Craig Gallagher is getting smaller.
Exactly what Bones needed. He can't afford to lose any more ground to Craig Gallagher.
Big gains for Bones as they move up the field, leaving Craig Gallagher behind. Things are heating up as Craig Gallagher tries to close the gap to Bones. Narwhal is placed first at the moment. The gap between Narwhal and Kevin Lekmansky is getting smaller. It's now down to 2.3 seconds. If everything goes as planned, this is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
Craig Gallagher is trying to catch up to Bones. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. It's not looking good for Craig Gallagher, who is still behind Bones, and the gap is increasing.
He needs to pick up the pace for sure, but that's not always a real possibility.
This is where the race get breaking alert, and David Zahn has just won the place from Craig Gallagher.
Absolutely. Zahn is showing great pace and determination, but he can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Simon of the Desert, who is currently in P5.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as Simon can close that gap.
It's not going to plan for Simon of the Desert, who is trailing behind David Zahn, and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now.
This is a tough situation for Simon. He'll need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
The battle for P3 is heating up as David Zahn tries to catch Bones in P3. The gap between David Zahn and Bones is widening. It's now up to 0.6 seconds.
Zahn needs to get it together to make a dent in that gap.
Simon of the Desert is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
The mental game is just as important here. Simon must keep his cool while putting pressure.
Braking update. Fantastic move from Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a position. This is a thrilling battle as David Zahn edges closer to Simon of the Desert in their fight for P4.
David is really pushing the limits. He's riding the curbs and hustling that ASRL Chevrolet 28 like a boss.
Simon of the Desert is giving it his all, chasing down Bones in P3. Wow, Narwhal is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
He'll be the one celebrating at the finish line.
The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Narwhal, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books.
That was a true masterclass in driving from Narwhal. You could see him making split-second decisions with total confidence, and it really paid off. What a performance.
Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Kevin Lekmansky certainly doesn't see it that way. He put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of his podium finish.
Intense race, but Lekmansky held his nerve and earned a great second place.
What a race from Bones. He kept his cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium.
Great job bringing it home.
Simon of the Desert, David Zahn, Craig Gallagher, and James Garbach in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.